Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in. Check out your boy P Funk thinking right out here. I'm in the lab, and now you know I'm in the books doing what I do for you. Oh, this is my favorite girl. Whenever I talk about Mayat and Tahuti, I'm at my best because those are two things I like to talk about. Those are my favorite God and goddess, by the way. So let's go. Rightism, 25 rule to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. There's always a message in my stories for life. I give life lessons. You tune in and receive it. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's do what we do. Right thinking mission is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking's way of life through mental and spiritual discipline practice daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of reaching spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission, and I'm on it daily, is to get all right thinkers to know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. See where we're going with this? Let's get there together. So I asked the question, do you know you? When I'm through, that's what I do. It's we talk. But if you don't have an answer for yourself, tune in. I got you. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. Don't be them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple, but you can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. I appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous, avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is basically asleep. I can awaken them. I'm a spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you, right thinkers? Know thyself and to Maya, be true, my girl. But Maya without Tahuti don't work. Let me show you why. All right, peaceful philosophy says Maya philosophy is purification of the heart and mind, aka heart, mind, coherence, heart, mind, Tahuti. Put them together, you find God. That's where He resides. Let's go in the hearts and mind of all of us. Let's talk about it. Maya is the principle in which we stand on of order, righteousness, truth, reciprocity, divinity. She is the standard in which our ancient commission lived out and for 3,000 years in harmony practicing this philosophy. When I went to Egypt 30 years ago or more, I went to get the philosophy that they taught, and this is what I come back with. Let's go. And she is the standard in which all should be measured. And to them, if you didn't pass the Mayat judgment, the feather of the heart, your heart being light as Mayat's feather, you had to come back and do it again. Why? The lesson that you live here is to be able to purify one's heart. That's part of this lesson too. Let's go. Tahuti, which is the brain, God's mind. These are all aspects of you, and that's part of you. Tahuti is the counterpart to Mayat. Some people say they was consort. No, Mayat has no consort. Mayat has no male counter. No, she is a principle. She represents it from a female aspect. She don't need a man to be represented by principle. But the counterpart to her is the thinking part. The heart is the emotion, the truth where God dwells. And the thinking part is the consciousness that we have control over, that we could become conscious of who we are. That's the moral marriage that's inside all of us. And Mayat, he's the counterpart. He, Tahuti, represents wisdom, the knowledge of God, which comes from what? Right and correct reasoning, rationality, and it's all based on truth and self-knowledge of what your inner true self, which is God. We had the guys called in the judgment scene, Shah and Reno Net. They are the hands of Tahuti because they represent you actually doing what you reap, what you sow, harvest and destiny. Okay, your destiny is to be back what to the Father, back home. That's what y'all call it, heaven. Well, everybody got different names, okay. But in the ancient Egyptian book of coming forth by day, Tahuti is the netter who records, thinking, understanding, memory, the results of what the balanced scales where your heart of the individual, Your individual's acts are recorded in the heart. There's a brain that keeps track of everything. Your intentions are kept in the heart, not the mind. And your right thoughts, your right speech, and good deeds while alive. You had to perform these things before you get to judgment day. That means live righteous and virtuous day to day. That's it. That's all you gotta do. People who know that, that's all they do. Moving on. I just choose to be teaching this nonsense, but no, I'm just saying I feel the need to help others. So I'm driven to teach, but I live it and I love it. And that's what we all are be judged. Watch this. With his hands sharp and reinet, he records the results of the balance, aka the actions of your life, and then misconnect, which is karma, will what? Lay out your whole life left. She keeps track, okay? Whatever you didn't get due to you while you was alive, in death, she comes and brings it to you, so to speak. And watch this. And if your heart gotta be light as my feather, if karma gotta pay you a visit at Judgment Day, it's not gonna end well for you. Moving on. Why? Because she's gonna bring you baggage that's gonna make your heart heavy. I meant just salivates. Yeah, he ready. He gonna get yours. Yeah, you done. But Mishconnect, she's the ones who carry out the task of what? Sending your soul of that individual into their what? Into their new life. That's her job. Why? Oh, you failed. If you got her, we definitely know. We don't worry. We know what's going on. You're the only one that don't know. All right? You fail. So Mishconnect takes your soul and try to put it in a better position. That's the philosophy. I will get into that. Thus, karma, which is misconnect in your actions, should be thought of, watch this, as what? The total efforts of one's personal actions and intentions and their conduct during the successful phases of his or her life existence. You come here to do something, okay? Your goal is to know who you are. And how does this affect, how does this affect operate? How do the past actions, meaning you messed up because you didn't pass, how your past actions affect the present? Now you're here. If you don't get it right, you're going to be back again. And your future, you'll be back here again. So your experience from the present life or even previous lifetimes will cause what they call unconscious impressions, meaning they still have desires that they died and didn't get out, so it carries over in the spirit, okay? Which say with the soul even after death. That's what they call it. So your unconscious impressions are what can constitute the emergence of wrong thoughts, physical desires, and aspirations of every individual. Nobody escapes. These impressions are not exactly like memories, no, but however, they work like memories. What the hell that's about? Okay, well, for example, let me give you. If you had a fear in a previous lifetime of the childhood of your present lifetime, you may not remember the event that caused you to have that fear. I got a fear of falling. I got a fear certain. We got a bunch of fears and phobias because those are locked in the mind that you don't know where they come from. Watch I fear falling. Obviously, in the prior lifetime, I must have failed. So that's what I said. I understand the concept. We all do. That's what I say. Nobody escapes it. But you have fear. Why you got that fear? But you will remember that feeling you have when you come into what? Contact. That's deja vu. Okay? Something happened to you. Oh, that's what brings on the fear. And certain objects or certain people cause that. These feelings are caused by the unconscious impressions in which you are coming out of and coming up to the surface in your conscious mind today, in the present time. But it is this conglomerate of unconscious impressions, ego, which are judged in the heart of Maat and determine where the soul will go next in its spiritual journey towards what? Evolution or devolution. And also as known as what? The cycle of birth and death or reincarnation, as well as the experiences of being as good, heaven, as bad as hell. So understand, you make your heaven or hell. It's all done by you. Once we start to teach our young that, then they can better leave. Why? They can make the judgment now. They would prefer to have heaven. Kids that's disciplined, who respect God, who are instituted with that, they live a better life than the kids who don't. It's just simple as that. Everybody get to say no, no, no. The kids who adhere to their parents in their household, every household is different. At one time, pretty much everybody was the standard. You hold your kids accountable, they break a window, you pay for it. They get out of line, you chastise them. Moving on, I ain't got time for that. But we have gotten away from what? Discipline. A disciplined child is a learning and a well-behaved and mannered child and will live their life accordingly. An undisciplined child becomes an undisciplined adult, living reckless and causing problems. Moving on. But again, the idea of the acts accumulated beside him, that's saying, I just told you, when you, at Judgment Day, they got the feather Maat on the scale. They're going to put your heart. But before they do that, when they do that, they're going to bring karma, going to bring you your baggage. Your heart can't stand no baggage. No, it can't stand greed. All those negative qualities, that's what she's going to bring you. All those slick moves you did, all the slick stuff you did, all the plans that you did to maneuver this, manipulate that, all those things that you did, that weighs on your heart. Being transparent means ain't no secrets. You clear the bell. Why? You do what you say. I tell my daughter, people you in your line, you observe them. What they say, if what they say don't match what they do, leave them alone. Why? They liars. Simple. Real truth, honest with people, their words match their actions. It's easy, real simple. All right, and she's a college professor. Still getting life lessons from Papa Smurf. All right, and understand this. When they say elude your unconscious impressions, meaning all your stuff that you thought you got away with, which are formed as a result of your actions. You did these things while you was alive. So at Judgment Day, whatever you didn't get, karma delivered. Now, this is yours. I like that idea. So now, if you hiding something, we just come out of Pisces, the age of mystery, okay, sneaking, deceitful. Everybody has a secret. We in the age of information. If you got a secret now, everybody gonna know it. Why? Be more transparent. Become conscious of a whole lot of stuff. People sneaking, deceitful. You got to see people who really are. You don't like people. I don't like ignorant people. I detest ignorant. Why? That's not good. That's why. And we think it's normal. Y'all done got to the point where stupidity and ignorance is becoming the norm for the masses. Avoid the masses. I do. So my point is, back to the lesson, sorry. But these impressions can be either positive, aka heavenly, or negative, hellish. Simple as that. It ain't no in-betweens. Ain't no, ain't no excuses either. Stop. Well, but I thought, no, that nonsense. Positive impressions are ones that develop through positive actions, right thinking, by living a life of righteousness and virtue, aka Maat, or right thinking philosophy, because that's what I practice. This implies that you're living according to the precepts of the mystical wisdom, or you're being a follower of Haru, y'all know him as Horus, or the Shimshu, Hor or Aset. These actions draw you closer to harmony and what? Peace. And this paving the way to discover your what? True self within yourself, not outside. The negative, there you go, the ego, negative impressions, ignorance, are all developed through what? Sinful, egoistic actions. Again, pleasure of the flesh. Just doing him. Didn't care about nobody else. That's sinful acts. And they are related to mental agitation, disharmony, restlessness, and this also implies that your acts that you did was based on anger, fear, desire, greed, depression, gloom, etc., all brought on by you, all manifested by you. And these actions, which draw one into what? The outer world of human desires. You are a material person. You are a devil. You're a material worshiper. You're an idol worshiper. You're idols, things, stuff. That's worshiping material things. We use the signs and symbols to show God. We don't worship the symbols. Yeah, I was thinking, fall in love with the symbol. The eye. Oh, it looks good. No, it represents consciousness. God's conscious. I'm conscious of God. Yeah, oh, it looks good. I want one of them. You know what I mean? This. I'm in logical perfection. That means I'm a perfect man. Okay, I'm structured and built right to know myself. Again, all these is esoteric occult practices that teach you about yourself. Oh, I want to be a Mason. I want to be that. Why? Just be your best self. If you want to be a Mason, join the organization. You find it's going to take you. I just told you to be your best self. That's their job to help you with that way. Okay. They distract your mind and do not allow your intellect to shine, to function, your soul, your understanding. With the ego, you're not understanding. You don't get clarity. You don't have self. You don't have knowledge of self. Thus, existence at this level, watch this, is closer to an animal. Hence, beastly nature. You on instinct. You're on ego. And it's all based on animal instincts and your physical desires and pleasures of the body rather than a spiritual, mature human being. He loved what? Money, sex, and anything else he can get. I, in turn, love for a higher reason, do for a higher reason, different purpose. I changed my life. That's why. And when being based on reason, selfishness, a better life, I'm based on being better, and it's based on me now for having reason, selflessness, and compassion towards others. 1 second. And see, when you start caring about somebody and other things other than yourself, I learned that from having pets. I'm a pet owner now. And at one time, I couldn't stand anything outside myself. So I'm moving on. That's becoming spiritually mature. Something other than physical. Moving on. When you live in my yacht, you practicing what we call purifying your heart. How you do that? Listen to the heart, follow the heart, let your heart conscious be your guide. That means do what's right. Watch this. So in life, how can I do this purify my heart thing? How then is it possible to eradicate your negative karmic impression? Bad behavior leads to bad results. Good behavior leads to good results. Is that hard to understand? Doing the right thing, you will be rewarded. Doing the wrong thing, you will be punished. Didn't we raise our kids? Whether we raised on those premises, it haven't changed. It's still the same thing. You do right, you'll be rewarded. Again, we taught that, but we don't teach that no more. We teach, well, get while you can. You gotta do this, you gotta do that. That dog eat dog concept. And you got to understand how do you eradicate these negative karmic impressions and how to develop a positive one? Live right. The answer lies in your understanding of the wisdom teachings that we put forth and your daily practice of them. If you want to learn them, you have to practice them. That's how I got better at them. That's how I got good at them. That's how I mastered them. Practice daily for a while. Still practicing. So when you study, I do that daily, the teachings, and you start living according to those teachings. What's the purpose of studying and learning if you ain't going to do a damn thing but just studying and learn them? Your mind will undergo what we call a transformation at all levels, mainly the ignorant. Now your ignorance will acquiesce and let your higher self take over. Why? It can't do it. It knows its limits. It's human. It's limited. Your spirit is unlimited. This transformation of going from ignorance to enlightenment, knowledge of self, is what we call purification of the heart. It's only going to happen if you do the right thing. You can think it all you want. You can wish and hope and pray. You can't buy it, steal it, or get it. You have to experience it by putting the work in. And so often it's spoken about throughout the Egyptian book of coming forth by day. It signifies that in how to eradicate the negative impression, teaching you how to get rid of the negative karma in your life. Which renders your mind what? Pure and subtle, at ease, not agitated, not going here, there, up and down, emotional roller coaster that we go through. I don't do those things. I have control over what? My emotions. That's the ego. Your ego is run by the emotions, and your emotions run your ego. They should not be in control. They should be good servants, and they are that, but they bad leaders. Why? They haphazard. They flip flop from here. They good 1 minute, bad the next. Can't rely on it. That's why. So, with spiritual discipline is the way of purifying your heart, holding yourself accountable to let the heart do what it does. Act on purity, act on righteousness, and it will reward you. I call it blessing. Same. I don't care what you call it, but you got to do it to get it. So the name, what you call it, don't make a difference. The actual fact that you get it, that gives you the right to call it whatever you want. But this spiritual discipline of purifying one's heart, and it's only done, and can only be done, you ready? By living according to the teachers. The teachers are there to be learned and practiced. And this is known as what? Your yoga of action. You're not just learning, you're putting into what you're learning, you're putting into action, you're practicing it to what? Master it, or we call it Mayat. Okay, yoga discipline, they 5 of them, and that was one of them. We just know it as Mayat. Karma yoga, you reap what you sow. You do good, you get back good. That's reciprocity. Good in, good out. Simple as that. It don't change. Bad in, bad out. You can't put bad in and get good out. You can't put good in and get bad out. It don't work that way. So again, in India, it's called the yoga system, which is fine. Meaning it's practice, it's learned. It's a philosophy that you can understand. Let me go. I got see the clock. I got 10 minutes. Let's rock. So the philosophy of Mayat, what I live by, is considered right thing philosophy. If you're practicing right thing philosophy, you're practicing Mayat philosophy along with a few others. But the Mayat philosophy is a profound teaching for thousands of years. Thousands of years. And you would tell me I'm supposed to believe this Bible nonsense you're talking? Kiss smack, stop. A profound teaching, which watch this, which encompasses the total fabric of creation, as well as a highly effective thinking system of spiritual discipline. Not a belief system. No, it's a spiritual discipline philosophy. In creation stories, we know as myths, the virtue, which you know is God, the One, is said to have established creation upon Maya. I tell you, when Ra came out the noon, the first thing he needed was order. Maya, that's your job. She took it and been doing it ever since. And she means, consequently, it follows that Maya is the orderly flow of energy which maintains the universe. Picture that. Balance. The universe is balanced. Furthermore, Mayat is the regulatory which governs the massive planets that orbit the solar system, as well as the growth of a blade of grass. Dali, and all human cells. That's God. We know that. The spirit, the essence, we all understand that. But this natural process represents the flow of creation, wherein there is constant, ceaseless movement and order and balancing of what? Opposites. Up need down, hot needs cold, here needs there, you need me, etc. That's my the law. Ain't changed. It ain't changed since it started. So most people act out of the different forces, which we know as nature elements, are coursing through them at the same time. These may be hunger, sensations in the physical body, because this is where we housing. You got hunger, you have lust, you have fear, you have hatred, anger, elation, etc. These are all emotions. These are all egotistical aspects of your emotional part that you thrive on. If you're ego driven and not enlightened, you're ignorant. They have no control over these concepts because they have not understood that their true essence is in reality separate from their egoistic thoughts and physical emotions of the body. We're not the body. The ego thinks it's the body and believes it's the body and thinks it will die. When the body dies, it's going to die too. That's ignorance. That's all. So they have identified themselves and their thoughts and therefore are led to the consequences of those wrong thoughts and bad deeds that they did for themselves. Don't nobody get the blame for your actions but you. And you as an aspirant, right thinker, and starting to develop a higher level of spiritual sensitivity, getting knowledge of self, acting on the knowledge that you're learning and putting it to use, living right. Now you are aware that you have a choice. Again, in your right or wrong thoughts, right or wrong actions. You think right and your actions that you perform are right. Now you have chosen the right thing to do, and all your actions in that manner will be right and in harmony with Maat. Or those that are in disharmonious, you have now studied the words and gained the wisdom from practicing the teachings. And now you must now look beyond the ignorant level of just the ritual or the worship of the God to the realm of just daily practice of what your own experiences with the divine. Meditate. If you want to experience God, meditate. You want to appease God, do the right thing. Simple. Okay, I see the clock. Let me try to beat the clock. I got a few more paragraphs right here. I'm almost there. Stay with me. An ordinary human being, ignorant, they call y'all ordinary. If ignorant is ordinary, we got a problem. A lot of us is ignorant, and y'all think that's natural. The master, 80% is ignorant. And y'all take it like it's a medal of honor. No, it's a disgrace. And those who have not achieved the state of enlightenment, aka know themselves, which is the masses in society at large, that is a problem. And you perceive nature as a conglomeration of forces we know to be nature. Yeah, but watch this, which are unpredictable, which is wrong, and in need of control, which is wrong. It's already been laid out. We just pause in this game of life, play your role, and be your best self. However, as a spiritually sensitive, mature individual, right thinkers, you're the aspirant, you realize that what once appeared to be chaotic is in reality the divine plan of what? Of the supreme being. And this is the process of unfoldment, and we call life. Nature takes care of itself. We either get with the movement or get run over. So when the state of consciousness, you start to become conscious of these facts, is attained for yourself, each individual. Now you, the aspirant right thinker, you now realize that there is an underlying order in nature which can only be perceived through what? Experience and spiritual eyes, aka the third eye. That's why it's so important. This eye, the eye of consciousness, the eye of knowing thyself, knowing who I am, knowing God for yourself. And y'all, as Christ said, the Father and I are one. When you realize who you are, you say the same thing. Let me take it on in. Last paragraph. So the various injunctions of Maat, there's 42 of them, they are for the purpose of helping you keep order and balance in society, not just your life. They all practiced it. So it was the norm. You got Christians here, Muslim and Jew. No, we all was Maat. Simple, okay, as a society. And amongst ordinary people, people without psychological maturity, meaning knowledge of self, understanding their spiritual sensitivity, meaning that they lack in awareness, lack of knowledge of self, of what we call spiritual principles that help you know thyself. There's things you can do for that, and hold you moral and ethically will develop. You will develop moral and ethical principles. And also, they will provide insight into the order of creation by understanding it. And it's a pathway of what we call spiritual discipline, which, when followed, you're holding yourself accountable to do right, live right. And that will lead you, the aspirant, right thinker, to come into what? Harmony. Harmony with what? The cosmic order. God being in sync, where everything just falls out for you. Things just work out for you. Even adverse situations still work out in your favor. That's when you're living right. I did the lesson yesterday. Question. If you living right, you living a blessed life. Why? Because if you're doing the right thing, you're blessed for that. That's why. And everybody I told about agreed. So something to it. I think I'm pretty good at understanding. So I present it and other people understand it too. So when you, the individual, attune his or her own sense of order and balance within yourself and the cosmic order, it's a spontaneous unity that only occurs between you, the individual, and your higher self, aka the cosmos or God, and the principles of Maat, if practiced, will blend and set. It has a set of rules in which you must strive to follow and become part of one's your inner character. Hold yourself accountable not to do those things. And you proceed your life from one in a spontaneous manner of what? Being connected to God. In a heartbeat, I can become godly. Why? Just do right. Just simple. Devil, do what you want to do. That's most people do what I will. Your boy Alistair Crowley. He's creating devils. Okay, he don't want you to follow God. He wants you to follow yourself. Knowing that you are God, just individually, you won't never reach that level. Why? Because that's egoism. But this means that through the deeper understanding in the practice of your cosmic order, understanding by the daily practice of living in harmony with that order, aka Maat, you now, the individual, will lead him or herself to mental and what we know to be spiritual peace and harmony, aka Hotep or bliss within oneself. That is the place, that is the peace in harmony, which allows the lake of your mind to become clear as a mirror, in which you now, in your individual soul, is able to realize what its own oneness with the universal soul. That's the goal for all right thinkers. That's the goal for anybody who practices my philosophy or the Maat philosophy. That's the lesson. I see the clock. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. When I get going, I just want to make sure I get it over. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. Study it, practice it, and then you benefit from it just like I do. And in closing, right thinkers, you all live to be 100, me 100 miles a day. So I've known my right thinkers who now understand that Maat philosophy is purification of one's heart and mind and passed away. I'll be right back.